been sat here 40 minutes now. I think there's been an accident. I've just heard there's a lorry overturned. I'm stuck on the M1 on my way to Barston. So it's a great opportunity for me to catch up on some of the questions that I've been getting asked through Messenger. It's been the best way of asking questions, so if anyone's interested on all the matches that I fish, anything about them, how I know about them, how we fish them, how I've seen other people fish them, Messenger, it's the best way. So it's going to give me a chance. I've got a bit of a backlog, so I'll just go through some of them now while I'm stuck here, hungry, waiting to get to Barston. So the first one, Southfield. Again, what kind of rods do I use on the long line at Southfield? Basically, I use the Horizon range. A lot of people know I've used that for the last year or two anyway, but I use the new version, which is the Horizon. It's the XD, and I use that at Southfield past 60 metres, simple as that. And I use the 4 metre version, 100 gram, just because 100 gram will easily cast feeders that are 50-60 gram. Obviously that's the weight of the feeder when you get ground bait in there as well, because I generally use an Horizon feeder on that long line. You've probably got about 10 gram of ground bait or 15 gram of ground bait in there as well, so that's adding to the weight. So that just loads a 100 gram rod just fine, you know, for ranges 60 metres. I very rarely go past that range at Southfield, I'll be totally honest with you. But having said that, I know there are certain anglers that catch at range, particularly early on in spring. Scott Rispin is one of them. He's very good at fishing 60-70 metres, and at that time of year a lot of the fish can be out there, so it's a great weapon to have in your bag. Next question was mixers for Ireland. World Pairs, we've just come back from there and we use the same mix that we used last year. It's no secret, 50-50 combination of Pro Natural Dark and Pro Natural Bream. A couple of days we put some molasses with it. We didn't use any crushed hemp this year, but they tended to be, you know, a heavier mix. But they really wanted a lot of particles this year on the World Pairs, so we're using window feeders, we're using the dome feeders, and just giving them more freebies rather than ground bait. So that's the mix that we used over there again this year. Next one was, some of these messages aren't even in English, so I do apologise if anybody is watching. I know a lot of you in Europe watch them. If you can send them in English, unfortunately it's the only language I speak and it's the only one I can read, so I do apologise if there's any messages that I can't quite understand. I do apologise. Again, tips for fishing at range on the Horizon, the XD. It's one of those things that when you've got ounce graded tips, you generally find that they can be different through different manufacturers. It's probably something that I probably shouldn't say, but I think that's what I've found, that, you know, different brands, their tips are graded a little bit different from each other sometimes. So for example, a 3-ounce tip on a Horizon rod might be different from a 3-ounce tip on a different rod, and obviously the action is different as well. So it's difficult for me to answer questions about, you know, rods from other brands, because I'm only using Matrix ones now, so I can only really tell you what I use. So I generally find that when I'm fishing at range, i.e. 60-70 metres plus, I don't really use a tip less than about 2.5 ounce. Sometimes it's got to be, you know, stronger than that, depending on the tow or the range. And what you generally find is that the further out you go in a reservoir, the more tow you're likely to pick up. So that means, therefore, you're going to need a tip that's slightly stronger because you've got more line or more braid out there. And obviously, as a lot of people know, if you use braid over mono, braid is generally a lot. The diameter that I use is 0.10, and to fish out there, if you're using a mono, it generally has to be a little bit stronger than that, a little bit thicker. So that is going to pick up more of the tow than a thin braid like the 0.10 that I use. So again, that will mean that you can use a lighter tip. A lot of questions about fishing at range, but when I say range, I don't mean like silly range 90 metres. I'm talking about 60 and 70 metres, which with the kind of kit I use is, you know, it's quite easily achievable with the right kit. If you've got the right reel with it, you've got the right braid or diameter mono, if you're using mono, the right type of feeder, and obviously the casting technique and all that sort of stuff. But with all that, you know, it should just make it easy. It's not a big secret fishing at 60 metres or 70 metres. You know, it's easily achievable with the right kit and obviously a bit of practice. This lorry's moving, fantastic. So that's it. It looks like we're moving. I better knock that off. off to Barston. Hopefully the accident hasn't been too serious. I'm about 40 minutes from Barston, so hopefully I'll be eating breakfast very, very shortly. In case you're wondering, I'm actually down at Barston Lakes today. It is the final of the Angling Times Bait Tech Supercup Final. It's a competition I was on last year. I actually did a video for it, so if anyone's interested, I'll put the link below from last year's event for you. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's just great to see so many club anglers so enthusiastic. Some of them, I've just heard that one of the teams has spent a week down here practicing. It's awesome, especially at this venue. I've got a bit of bait to pick up. I've ordered some from Haley, so I'm just going to take the van over there, chuck my bait in there, and then I think we're going to have a walk around the lakes. Oh, there we go. Straight into him. It's a team event, which is important. Unfortunately, he's lost that fish, but I think a lot of teams realise that skimmers could be important. You know, they're a lot more predictable than the carp, but we'll find out. We've had a lot of rain. It looks well, as you can see. Wind's blowing into this bank. This lad's going back out again on the method. Let's have a quick walk around the lake. There's some fish being caught early down in pegs 18, 19, 20, which has been a bit of a favoured area. The wind's hitting it there, you can actually see fish crashing out there, so 2 or 3 decent carp have been caught there, so that's probably the best area in this first section. Early peg 4, 1 or 2 struggling there. The wind's just changed. It was blowing into that bank, but now it's blowing down the lake. Just heading back in now just to see Lloyd and Haley, just find out what's happening, and then we're going to have a walk down the other side, hopefully get some action shots for you. Well, there's a few early fish caught in the teens, but we're just over on the other side now. The wind was blowing into about peg 10 early on, but the wind's switched now. It's now blowing down the lake. I've not been down this roadside as yet. It's 1:30, so it's about halfway. And we've heard that peg 124 is probably winning the match. He's probably got 60 pound-ish. So we're just going to have a walk down and see what he's got. 2 fish already. Big 1, 2, 3. I think he's catching long. Looks like a tea bag. He's just going back out. Bomb and tea bag. He's fishing long. And 1, 2, 2 is playing a fish now. Hold on, mate. Alright. Judging by the length of his rod, he's caught that long as well, but everyone's loose feeding pellets. It's a popular method on here, pellet waggler, pellet, loose fed and a bomb over the top, or the method. So that might come into play in the last hour and a half or so. Well, there's not a great deal being caught down this bottom end, just a few skimmers. I mean, this section here where it's probably the 90s, the early 90s, skimmers can be very important in that section. Like I said, the wind's changed and it's blowing down into this corner now. We're over in the 80s. I don't know how many pegs are on this. 2 pegs here. I've seen 1 or 2 skimmers caught here, but I'm not sure which way this section goes. But the wind's blowing into this back bank now. I haven't seen any fish caught. I've been watching from the other bank, but I'll have a walk around, see if they're catching in this deeper water and going round over to the 50s. There's 1 or 2 skimmers being caught on that back bank, but we're just down in that bottom corner now. This is peg 68. I don't think this ever gets pegged, but you can see how the wind's blowing down into this corner. 2 lads on the pole, but I mean these are really pole pegs to be fair. Next one up's on the pole, and that's getting up to the 50s. That might mean they're not catching on the feeder, but we'll go and have a look. Skimmers being caught. They're not really big fish, a lot of them are under £1, but just up to peg 53 now. It is fishing hard. Rumour is £25 winning this section. Just got some peg on the point, he's just hooked one. Skimmers again, very important fish. There's an hour and a half left and this wind's really blowing into these pegs. Just walking up. This lad's just hooked one. I think he'll be on the method long. As you can see, that wind's blowing straight into here. There's still 1 or 2 fish crashing out there. To be fair, 1 or 2 of the lads haven't quite got the kit to get out there, especially in this wind. So it may be not being getting as capitalised as what it might be, but still some fish being caught. Hour and a half to go. Nobody's said that there's any team running away with it, so this last period could be very, very important. All to play for last 90 minutes. This is where the fish were crashing right from the start. That wind's increased a bit, but it looks like there's still plenty of fish being caught. Right, it's 3:30, 30 minutes left. We haven't been out on the bank for the last half hour, we've just been going through the weigh sheets and stuff. Going to give Nigel a hand at weighing in, and Richard. So yeah, everyone says peg 124 has probably done the best individually, but team wise nobody says any team's really running away with it, so it's going to be an interesting weigh-in. Just get my waterproof leggings, get the clipboard and give the lads a hand to weigh in. Weight section for you. We are, me and my glamorous assistant, are weighing in pegs 54 down to 80 and then over to 103. We think this section's been a bit hard, but yeah, let's get these lads weighed in. I think the results are in. There's a couple of teams admitting to brilliant scores, but just have a look at this lot. They're all prizes, obviously all the trophies and everything. All the bait take chaps. What a lot of people don't know is that bait take, what they've actually put into this, and it's just worth mentioning, there's been 90 anglers here today. Bait take have actually paid for 90 breakfasts and 90 evening meals for this lot. It's a fantastic thing, it's a fantastic event, especially for the club anglers. Definitely one that everybody wants to be part of within the club fishing scene. It really is great. So I think they've just gone for let's go and get a drink, and then they're going to announce the results. Dersingham, they've done it. Right, well that's it. I've got a 95-mile drive back to Sheffield. It's been a fantastic day, another cracking final. I mean, the wind has made it difficult for a lot of the anglers, especially those that had to resort to fishing the pole or were in pegs that were more suited to the pole. You know, it's been difficult, and you know, I've seen some fantastic catches. I've helped weigh in 2 of the sections, and I've seen some cracking nets of fish, of F1s and carp. But some of those lads had also got 20 and 30 pounder skimmers as well, which it's great testament to the anglers, but it's obviously a great testament to the fishery as well. And when you couple that with the clubhouse and just the general layout of the fishery, you can see why it's so popular for a final. It's been brilliant, it really is, and it's been great to see a lot of friendly faces from last year. It's certainly, if I was fishing in a club now, that is, you know, certainly an event I'd want to be part of, and I can see why it's so popular. But that's it, it's Sunday evening, 7:15, we've all been fed, so I've got about an hour and 3/4 drive back home. It's Monday, tomorrow, back to work. But yeah, it's been a fantastic weekend, and it's just been great to just meet some of the guys that watch this channel and the videos that we do, and it's just been fantastic just to share the love of fishing, you know, because some of those lads have spent a few days on that venue and they've learnt bits, and a lot of them have never been there before, and they've fallen in love with the place. Fantastic, absolute great event. It's great for the Angling Times and Bait Tech for backing it and putting it together and organising it. But yeah, absolute brilliant event.